Okay. Wow, I've tried this so many times, you have no idea. This really is hard. I don't like just talking at a camera and listening to my own voice. It's super freaking not fun. And you ramble so much. So let's just get right into it. This video, which I've been trying to do for like an hour, is my personal philosophy on less is more and certain weapon systems. So today's day and age with the tactical and like preparedness dude bros and prepper types say you need versus what you actually need versus what you can actually responsibly afford kind of all conflicts. And so like today's age, like people are like, you need nods and you need laser units and you need an AR that can mount it all, and you need it to be a certain type of AR. It's actually good quality, which I agree with. Good quality. Always buy good stuff. Don't buy shit stuff. But in terms of like my preferred weapons platform, which is the Kalashnikov, the AK-47 AKM, I just always liked them. I have some ARs, but they're like weird ARs. You'll see them on the channel. They're not traditional, quad rail or M-lock or any newfangled stuff. They're ancient ass, 1990s, 1960s loadout type deals. And for the Kalashnikov, specifically for me personally, it's always just kind of been, what do you actually need as a normal person with a normal job? You're not an influencer, you don't have a whole bunch of expendable like income, and that's always just kind of been the classic. This is my personal Kalashnikov. It chills out in my closet next to my plate carrier. It's always ready to rock, and yeah, it just hangs out in there. And it's a nice gun. So it's built off of an old school Nodax Bud receiver. It's got a sanitized 1970s or 80s Circle 11 Polish parts kit, UF underfolder kit. I've slowly just upgraded it over the years, but I've also just kept some things that I just don't care about, making better. So like, this is literally a 20-year-old Condor single point sling that's been on the gun since I got it 13 years ago. It has an AMD 65 Tech cheek riser, good old paracord wrap on one side before I had that cheek riser. Up front, it has a Ultimac gas tube rail. This is an EOTech 558 because I traded in a ancient EOTech 551, 552, like a 90s one. That was finally dying, the reticle was dying, so I traded it in for 50% off this 558. This was one of my eBay specials before all of the cloning dudes, all of the like, I gotta rebuild the GWAT era and older tactical AR and M4 carbines. So this is a Surefire 961, I believe. So it's like old school incandescent, like straight up just a bulb. It's not LED. I've been slowly upgrading. I have several of these on weapons, and I've been slowly upgrading them with Malkoff internals. Malkoff's a cool company that makes internals for all these old Surefire lights, and they just upgrade them to more modern lumen output standards. So I've been slowly doing that, but all those old lights, before everybody cared, were like $100. I got an original Surefire 660 Classic off eBay for $100 before anybody cared. And I just put a Malkoff light unit upgrade into it, like a different bulb and internals. But anyways, this is kind of my philosophy of less is more, especially with this weapons platform, is like, optic, light, that's it for me. At this point in time, if you had to ask me what I would rather spend my money on going into the future here, night vision helmet and nods, or and the laser unit for passive aiming and IR stuff like that, I'd probably buy a thermal scope. I think thermals are probably a better investment for your average weapon mounted thermal. So whatever weapon that is, I really like one of my buddies. He's been doing thermal weapon mounting on like squad automatic weapon surrogates. So it's pretty cool. I'll add all the link some videos in the description of this video of like the type of stuff I'm talking about in terms of like setting up a Kalashnikov. So if like you want to set one of these up like an AR, with all of the rail space imaginable. So you could stick an LPVO and an offset red dot and a laser unit and a light and a IR illuminator and whatever. You can do that pretty inexpensively these days. It's still more expensive than this. Like the optic on this gun, just so you know, this is worth more than what I paid for this at the time period. So I paid $600 for this gun in 2012, and that optic is worth like $800. So that's how old I am in this type of stuff. So that's where I think some of my philosophy comes from, of just being like, less is more. I'm a normal dude. This has been sitting in a closet for the better part of 2 decades, collecting dust with a whole bunch of ammo next to it, because it's like I live life, you know, and I do what I think is, you know, the responsible thing to do. So I got ammo, and I got mags, and I got a plate carrier, and I got armor, and I have a weapon with a zeroed optic and a flashlight. But like, this isn't ever going to be anything else but what it is, and it's a Kalashnikov. It's an AKM. It's a 300-meter gun. No matter how much money, this is like one of the nicest gun, like Kalashnikovs you can buy quality-wise. I mean, it's got a Polish CHF barrel in it. You know, it's a Polish parts kit. It's a nice gun, and you're not going to get better than this, and it's still just a 300-meter gun. So, you know, it's an urban fighting rifle. It's just, this is what it is, and this is what I believe. So now, if you wanted to go a little bit further with one of these than just this, I mean, I call this like my Blackwater operator rifle, because it's kind of set up exactly the way some of the old Blackwater mercenaries had these set up in like the GWAT era. And yeah, I'll just go through this. As I said, like that's that. It's got an old Tapco saw grip on it. This is a modified Romanian dong grip that was modified to function with the underfolder so that it actually would close on it, and it still gives you a good nub, you know, a little bit of nubbage there. I kept my iron sights intact because I like iron sights, and this sight is a QD flip-off sight. As I said, I had this gun rebuilt at some points because Century Arms, you know, and their trained monkeys don't know how to build guns to save their lives. So I had it rebarreled with a good barrel. I had it chopped down to 12.7 inches, because that's 70/39 barely loses any muzzle velocity. Shortening the barrel, you have to get real short to actually affect the muzzle velocity. So it has a WBP like front sight post gas block combo on a Polish CHF barrel, and this thing was how I extended out the overall length, so I didn't have to SBR it, because FDATF, I don't like doing all their stupid paperwork, so I'll not do it. So that's another thing. I don't do suppressors, and I don't do SBRs, so because I'm just don't feel like dealing with it. It's a pain in the ass. So, and it's stupid. So this is how I dealt with the overall length, and it's just a DP-28 flash suppressor off of a World War II Russian machine gun, and it's a great blast forward and flash suppressing device. It's ridiculous how well that thing works, and it's, you know, hilarious because it looks like a giant trumpet on the front of this gun, but it's, you know, it looks better than a lot of other, like, it doesn't look as stupid as the faux suppressors and stuff like that. So, and it actually has a purpose because it's actually a flash suppressor. So I had that permanently attached on there for overall length, and yeah, I mean, this thing is super bare bones in today's day and age, but it's probably everything I'd need for a rifle to do for me personally. And then, as I said, let's go to this other one over here. So the other one I haven't owned as long. I got this one in 2018. This one's a 1970s all matching parts kit build from a good AK builder, and this one is it's a Romanian MP MD 63 or 65. I forget exactly which one it is, but it's super nice. And this one was just another test bed for like minimalist upgrades while still having, you know, some modern amenities. So, you know, optic. This one I've been experimenting with the magnification, even though I'm magnifying a freaking 3.5 MOA RMR. So I did this ScalarWorks mount with the RMR because I can get away with keeping my iron sights intact. Again, I like iron sights, so on this TWS dog leg I have the peep sight, and the peep sight will actually go all the way under through all this, so you can actually still use it, and it's great. That peep sight's awesome. In engaging steel targets at 100 yards, that peep sight's super easy. The RMR is really nice. I went through a whole bunch of shitty Chinese optics for years and years, and one thing I have to say is just buy nice optics. Just do it because it's worth it. Up here I've been experimenting. I got a newer light because the stream light was about the same amount of money as like an old Surefire off of eBay. I don't have to upgrade it, so this is like a modern LED, tack light. It's a, what is it? It's a Streamlight Pro Tack. I don't know. It's got the like a rechargeable battery in it, and I've been digging it. It's just on there. It's really bright, but the important thing is up here, this is a Midwest Industries light laser mount that just clamps in between the barrel like the other one, except this one's got 2 Picatinny mounts. I'll probably replace the mount that's on that gun over there with one of these because I think they're more utilitarian because you just have more Picatinny up in the front, and this little piece cost me $50 versus a full, modular rail system at the front of this gun. These guns are also super front heavy as it is, especially if you're like me where you run folders, old school folders, and so, making them more front heavy just seems silly to me. So I also don't like tape switches or any of the wires or any of that. I just like pushing a button and having it work. So obviously if you put a laser unit on this, you'd have to figure out some way to tape switch this up, but again, at this point, I don't have nods and I don't care. This gun is probably a good test bed for me of getting a thermal scope at some point, sticking a thermal on here and maybe offsetting this red dot on the side or something. I don't know, we'll see how I decide to deal with that, but yeah, magnifying an RMR is really janky, but it does work, just because these windows don't line up that great, but it does work. So yeah, I don't know, less is more. You get you can put an Ultimac on this and the TWS dog leg, and that's like, Ultimacs are still $100. This TWS dog leg is $150. That's $50, or you can go the full, Sure Shot rail chassis or any of the other really modern stuff. You can try to get a Zenico if those are still even obtainable. I don't know, I haven't looked. And but those are going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars versus this you can also piece together slowly and responsibly. I don't know, just less is more. With the Kalashnikov, this is a really nice version of this gun, nicer than anything you can buy commercially. CHF chrome line Polish barrel, like super nice kit build off of a matching parts kit and put together the right way. And yeah, it's a 300 meter gun, no matter what you do. Again, I got in this early, so I'm an early adopter of the Kalashnikov, and this gun I think cost me in 2018 from a builder about $785 out the door. And then I've slowly put parts and stuff on it, so it is just what it is. And yeah, I don't know, it's a Kalashnikov. Less is more. You want to put a laser on this? Put a laser on one of these and just deal with the fact that it's like a 1940s submachine gun surrogate, it was made to replace the PPSH 43 and 41s and stuff like that. So I don't know. It is what it is. I like them because I think they're cool. And I like them, and I got into it early, so I got to put a ridiculous amount of rounds on both these guns. And I wrapped this up with just saying, if you're going to get into this, don't cheap out. Get something that actually has some longevity to it, like actually has some quality and longevity to it. So if that's a cheapest option at this point, so a Wasser 10, Wasser 10s are QC's a little wonky on them, but they're still really high quality parts, which is what matters. And the other option is kit builds from builders. I think WBP Poland is okay, I would stay away from Zastavas because Zastavas are heavier than they need to be. There's not as many aftermarket parts available for them, and I don't think you can replace the triggers in them. I think if you put an AGL trigger or anything like that, you'll deform the bolt carrier pretty quickly. So yeah, those ones are a little iffy to me. And this one does have an AGL trigger lightning bow in it. The other one, the underfolders, has the old nasty Tapco G2 trigger in it from 15 years ago. But they work. That one's had so many rounds on it that it's super crispy now. And yeah, I don't know, just less is more. Like this is a Kalashnikov, it's not an AR, and don't go overboard with it. And you know, both these guns for me at this point were under $1,000. And if you did this to, like, let's just price it out really quick. If you did this to a Wasser, something similar, buy a Wasser 10. Maybe if you want to do a side rail, you can buy a side rail for them. Those are like hit and miss to me. I made the mistake of getting a side rail and trying to put cheap Chinese optics on them, and that did not work out very well. So don't do cheap Chinese optics. You're going to do a side rail. You're going to dedicate an optic and a rail to this, then get something really nice like an EOTech or an Aimpoint or a Trigicon of some kind. So you can do side rail. So that's be $100 to $150 for that. And there you go. You got a rail optic. Always splurge for that. So I'm gonna put the cost of an optic outside of the overall cost of a gun. So a Wasser 10, $850 with a $100 Ultimac, $150 side railer like this TWS dog leg, you're at $1,000. This with, you know, that rail, $1,050. Get a light, $1,200. Why not just throw a good optic on there? Let's just round it up to $2,000. So it's the same as an AR though. Like if you buy a nice AR, you're looking at $1,000 minimum, like purchase. And then also like nice magazines, like, you know, actual steel AK mags now are $20 to $30. These are really nice Bulgarian magazines with the steel inserts. These are on sale. I can get them for like $15, but usually they're 20. So, you know, this stuff is a cost, like it is an overarching cost. And if you're going to spend the money, you might as well spend it on something that actually survives, you know, generations. Like I know this gun and the Polish gun, these two guns are going to outlive me. Like they are going to outlive me. And I want that. I want all my stuff to outlive me. I want it to be around here when I'm dead. That's just how I operate. So yeah, less is more. Just set up AKs so that they work, you know? Extended charging bolts are really good. I don't know, just less is more. Thank you for listening to my rambling. I don't know if this is even helpful or just stupid info from my perspective launched into the void. But buy good shit. Don't get too like wrapped up in what you need to buy or have to buy or blah. Have fun with it, live your life, do other things besides just revolving your whole life around being some crazy prepper dude. So anyway, thanks for watching. This is a really good video. I'm going to link in the description as well, showcasing how gear can explode on you. Highly recommend watching it. Really good watch. Less is more happens in this video quite often.